everyone, thanks so much for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just so happen to absolutely love this video, please consider liking it, commenting, subscribing, following me on Instagram, all of the wonderful things that help me grow my channel like a plant. Okay, so today we're talking stress and how to not be stressed once you hit like the 20 plant mark. I think once you hit 20, you start to snowball a little bit. If you're thinking that you're gonna have 15 plus plants, this is the perfect video for you. When people start plant collecting, including myself, we don't think about the time management, the budgeting, the organization, the discipline. We think plants, and that's pretty much it. I wanted to share how I've been managing my plant collection so that it's still something that I enjoy, but it's not compromised when I'm completely busy. The first tip is the juiciest tip. That's a lie. Watch till the end of the video. I wanted to talk about money because I think that was one of the first stressors for me once I started accumulating so many plants. My tip is to budget, which is not groundbreaking. I'm gonna be talking a little bit about how I personally budget and make it sustainable over a long period of time, even though I have lots of expenses. Plants are expensive, but so are the pots they go in, so is the soil, so are the soil amendments, the pest control, the really nice minimal watering can you want. You're gonna start needing to budget out probably like a monthly amount for your plant hobby. If you have a certain fixed income and you know that you can allocate X amount of money to plants and plant supplies and plant maintenance, go ahead and set that limit for yourself. And then if you want a plant that maybe goes outside of that limit, don't buy anything for 2 months and then use like a 2-month budget for that plant. But also, maybe you have a rarer plant and you can take a couple cuttings and sell it for a fair price and kind of make back some of that money on that plant. It's kind of like a win-win. You make some money back on your plants, you can make money for future plants, and you're also kind of making more connections within the plant community. So that's one way to do it. You can also just start a second kind of like revenue stream just for your plant hobby, and that's what I do. I do have a Etsy shop and I use that money. I completely take it away from my bank account and it goes into a separate little account, and that's kind of like my very extra disposable income, and it's a very small amount, but it does help me keep on track to the plant stuff that I need to buy. And that's how I can afford the more pricier plant, I don't know, splurges, because I know how much money I have built outside of my regular income and everything to spend on plants in the future. I think that the best way to approach your plant hobby monetarily is to not think it's just gonna be $5 here, $5 there, all that stuff. You need to consider, you know, how much money does it really cost to have X amount of plants. Have an allocated amount, a system set up where you're not suddenly in need of buying like 20 pots and you know you have to pay rent. Tip number 2 is probably the second most stressful thing I think about having plants, and that is time management. So this one is a little tricky because everybody watching this video is gonna have a different schedule, have a different amount of plants, whatever. So I'm just gonna kind of share what I do, and then you can mold it into your own personal life and your needs. I have one day a week that I dedicate to intense plant care. That day, nobody really talk to me. I don't really check my phone until everything's done. It's me and my plants. Like, I put on good music, I get all my supplies out, and I just go through the plants and I water them. That's when I fertilize if I fertilize. That's when I clean leaves. That's when I kind of just take note of everything going on and what a plant needs. Usually the intense plant care is day on the weekend, and then I pick another day, so this will usually be Wednesday or Thursday for me. It's just another little check-in throughout the week. So I'm not doing anything intense, I'm not pruning, I'm not propagating, I'm not fertilizing. It's just me and my watering can, and I'm just taking note on things. This usually takes me about like 30 minutes to an hour. On all the other days of the week, I am still checking in on my plants, but that allows me to only do about like a 10 to 15 minute walk around my apartment. I like this system because it's not really super overbearing to my personal schedule. I know that maybe some of you, that's time that you don't have to allocate to your plants, but it's a very like shapeable schedule for me. So some weeks, like in August, I was just so busy, like I had to change that schedule. That wasn't working for me. I didn't even really fertilize in August, I'll be honest, I know. Having this schedule allows me to do a lot of preventative care, catch infestations, problems early on, and it's kind of plant care sprinkled throughout my week rather than me getting super stressed out once a month or once a week. I also like this tip though because having a daily walk around with my little plant friends, it really grows a deeper appreciation for your plants. I think that's also really important once you grow a sizable amount of plants in your house, to just kind of take a moment to appreciate them and give them like a little love. So on a snappier note, I also like time management because it gives me more time to do stuff like that. Okay, tip number 3 is for plant upkeep. And believe it or not, this is different than the time management thing. Tip number 2 is all about the time you're allocating to your plants, but tip number 3 is all about what happens when that time isn't enough and things are getting out of control. When I reach this point, what I do is I get my little handy dandy phone and I do sort of like a little walk around my entire house, and I look at each plant individually and I take the time to do this, and I go, okay, are you happy right now? Yes or no? What do you need to kind of be the happiest self? In my notes app, I will say spider plants needs to be bumped up to a 6-inch pot, for example, which is true. I have this spider plant, needs to be bumped up. It's got roots. I will do that for each individual plant, and then I make a purchase list and a to-do list out of my little individual plant notes. And I will budget in the supplies that I need, and then I will also create a to-do list for my next couple weekend plant maintenance things. It's not really like a day-to-day routine for me, but this is kind of how I respond to feeling extremely overwhelmed by my plants or feeling like a lot of them are declining at once. This is how I bounce back from that. Okay, tip number 4 is to know yourself. Philosophical. It's gonna be kind of like a shorter tip. It's really just about knowing the amount of plants that works for you and your life, and also knowing the kinds of plants that work for you and your life and your environment. You have to go through a little bit of an experimentation phase where you might get crazy. You might like try out a fern, and who knows, maybe it works really well in your house, but more than likely it won't. Eventually you will know what works and what doesn't. You will know your capacity, you know? So once you have that number and list of plants in your mind, try to stick to that, and you can branch out. Of course, this is not me saying you can't ever buy a fern ever again. If you are trying to avoid stress, that is what I would recommend. And my last tip, use wish lists. It is like a really good tool to kind of keep yourself accountable and on track, you know? Otherwise, there's gonna be way too many plants that I wanna buy, and my budget's gonna fall apart, my time management's gonna fall apart, and the plant maintenance will be out of control. So I keep a wish list, which I shared already, to kind of just keep myself in check. Am I allowing myself to go off wish list? Yes. But it is just a way to kind of keep me nudged and a little bit more focused to the plants I know that I want and can take care of. That's also kind of a quick tip, but I just wanted to share that wish lists are more than just, you know, listing a bunch of expensive fancy plants. It's also just listing, I don't know, easy common plants that you want. I think that's actually gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully these tips were helpful. I try to be transparent with what's going on with me and how I do it, but let me know if you have any questions. Bottom line, you should never be stressed out about your plants. You should love them and they should love you, and you guys guys should live super happy together, and that's it. That's my opinion. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all that beautiful stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.